It's only August 27th, but I still wanted to start thinking about my TBR for the month of September. And I've decided to do a spinner's wheel, totally random, just one off the internet. And I decided to do 5 spins this month because most of the time I still have some books that I want to read that are on my radar, um, if I get them through the spinner wheel or not. So I have done the 5 spins and I will show you which books are on my TBR for September. The first spin got me the prompt of to choose a book with a white cover. And for this I had multiple options, but I'm trying to prioritize books that I physically own. So I chose one that I got as a gift by friends of ours. And this is In by Will MacPhail. So this is a graphic novel, quite a large book, and this should be a quick read because I saw on the inside that there is not much conversation on some of these pages, but I think it will be a very deep and philosophical read, one that you really have to digest. So this is about a young illustrator who cannot connect with people, and it isn't until he learns to stop performing and speak about the things that really matter that the complex and colorful worlds of the people he meets are finally revealed to him. So I think that is really an interesting topic of conversation to have. And I'm interested to see how this character, just develops. And I think this will be a read that I can probably get done in one day. So I will probably do it on a Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon. Brew myself a cup of tea and then start reading In by Will MacPhail. So that's book number 1 for a predominantly white cover. Book number 2 actually got me a prompt that I don't really interact with often, and that is to read a classic. So my quest was to look for a classic that is rather short and easy to understand, but which is maybe set in autumn or has some kind of September-ish vibes. And the one that I found is actually by Henry James, The Turn of the Screw. Now, at first I saw that this is like a 4.5-hour audiobook on YouTube, so it's a rather short, quick read. But then I saw this video explaining how to read The Turn of the Screw, and it told me, or I learned, that it actually was published originally in 12 installments in a weekly paper. So parents would sit down their children and read the story to them every week. And every installment would end on a cliffhanger so that there would be some suspenseful moment and then the installment is over. And then you had to wait a week. And so the person in the YouTube video actually recommended that you recreate this kind of reading experience and pretend like you cannot listen to the whole audiobook, but only 2 fragments of it one at a time. And so, this would then stretch over 12 weeks. So if I'm taking that seriously, which I am aiming for right now, then I will start doing this in September and then through October and November. So I would stop at the point that I have reached for the week and then continue the next week with the next installment. So this is the prologue first, and I've actually started listening to the prologue while I was hanging up laundry on Monday. And I got into the story, and I think I will continue doing that. So every Monday from now until the 12 weeks are over, I will listen to a part of The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. Interesting. I've never done this kind of project before. You really, cutting oneself off of the reading and then continuing at a certain point in the future is really interesting to me. And I hope I get some chilly and interesting story time with The Turn of the Screw. The next choice of the spinner wheel was actually to give me a prompt that I should actually let myself guide throughout the whole of my year, and that is to read a TBR vet, so a veteran, a book that has been on my radar for a long time. And as you may know, for my 25 to read in 2025, it was actually my goal to read all the physical books that I have, which aren't that many, but there are a few on my bookshelves that I just haven't touched since I bought them. And one of them is actually Ink Blood Sister Scribe by Emma Turtz. So this is on my autumn TBR as well. So I had multiple reasons to pick up this one, even though I have more TBR veterans. Some of them even older than this one, but don't tell anyone. So this I chose for this month. Hopefully I can get to it in September. It's one of the longest reads on my TBR for September so far, as you will see. So I am hopeful that I will somehow get to this throughout the month of September. The fourth spin was actually a quite nice prompt, which is the shortest book on my TBR. So I checked with Goodreads, and it's actually a manga, which I got as a gift for my wedding by my best friend. And it's a manga by, it's a manga by Hiro Fujiwara, and it's Maid-sama. And Kaisho wa Maid-sama is an anime that we watched, and this is the manga series that, of course, was first. And the anime my friend and I watched when we were like 15 or 16 years old, and we enjoyed it both immensely. And there is this episode of the manga where the characters obviously get married. Sorry if that's a spoiler, but that's just what this one is about. So I know that this will be a very quick read, and same as with the first book I told you about, I think I will just, take a few hours out of my day on a weekend, and then just focus on Maid-sama, marriage, and get back into the world of these two characters that my friend and I love so dearly, and enjoy the gift that she gave me for my wedding. And then the last book of the 5 spins that I did, the prompt actually was a book that the title starts with a B, which was actually not an easy prompt. I only had 2 books on my TBR that started with a B, and that is the first one, which I didn't choose, which is Battle Royale. And that's a, I think, 600-page book, which I have on my TBR because it was recommended to me by a YouTuber that I watch. But I just didn't feel like I wanted to put a 600 pages book on my TBR. And this book also is not on any, it's not on my TBR for the year or the autumn. So it doesn't have any kind of priority. And I'm probably going to read it during the winter time because it's a very dark setting. And the other book that starts with a B, which is on my TBR, which is also autumnal, but not on my autumn TBR anyway, is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I hesitated to put this one on because it's the beginning of a series and I didn't want to start a series, but the other option was a 600-page long book, so I decided to go for Belladonna. And I can see if I enjoy the series, then I will continue. If not, then I can just read the first one, and then that's okay. I actually started Belladonna in a bookstore somewhere, or was it a library? I think it was a library. And I enjoyed the first chapter or 2, or however many I read. So I'm looking forward to this. And I know, I think it's also a mystery YA. So maybe I will read some other books in between before starting Belladonna, because I'm coming out of this very mystery-based book session at the moment. But yeah, I'm still looking forward to it. It has autumn vibes, I think. There's death involved, so should be okay for the spooky season. So that is the last book of the 5 spins that I did for my September TBR. But I have a few more books that are on my TBR because I have started them already. And I think I will be carrying them on into September. So I didn't want to hold them back because they are, finishing off this list anyway. So I have 2 audiobooks that I'm listening to at the moment. The first one I only started yesterday, Catabasis by R.F. Kuang, which is her new release, only released yesterday. And then I also started listening to A Curious Beginning by Diane Rayburn, which is the first in a series of mystery books, I think set in the Victorian period. And I'm over halfway through, so I'm not sure if I will be carrying it on to September, but I am prioritizing Catabasis at the moment, so maybe I will finish it only in September because I won't be listening to this audiobook just now. And then the other book I have physically, which is The Tale of Holly Howe. I actually took this with me last weekend when I was in Munich. I didn't finish it. I have 90 pages left. And because I'm prioritizing Catabasis, I will probably finish this in September as well. But I want to finish it at the beginning of September because it's very summery and I want to get those summer vibes out of my system. And then the last book I also started, which I'm at the very beginning of, is Where the Library Hides by Isabel Ibanez, which is the second book in a duology. And I have this on my TBR for 2025 because I wanted to put on all the series I was in the middle of, and this was one of them. And I've continued it after stopping for a while. I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue reading, but I think I'm giving it another try. It's rather low on my priority list. Yeah, but I still have it, on my ebook, so I can continue with it if I want to, and if not, then I will just stop. So those are my options. 2 of them are really short and rather, quick reads, I think. This one very emotional, and this one as well, I think. And then I have this more longer book of Inkblot Sister Scribe, which is will be a longer read. And then I also have the classic, which I will be reading not only in September, but throughout the whole of autumn. And then, which one did I forget? I have Belladonna, which is for me in the same category as Inkblot Sister Scribe. Maybe not lengthwise, but from the feeling I get from this. So these are my options. And yeah, I hope September will be a good month of reading. I'm actually going on holiday in October and November, so I'm not sure how much of reading I will be getting done then. I will take my ebook reader with me just to keep my luggage light. I won't be taking any physical books. So I will have a good reason to pick up these physical books and finish them before October rolls around. So I hope you have a good month of reading as well. Tell me which one of your books are on your TBR for September and how you're planning on getting into all of the fall vibes that are hopefully rolling around soon.